Hello, thanks for checking out the video. This is Heather May. She's
Hi.
on the radio with me right now. We're on DC Music Rocks. So if you haven't heard the show, please do subscribe to DC Music Rocks so you can check out this episode and all the other ones. And this is the world premiere of her new song.
Glimmer.
You can check it out on this episode. It's not available anywhere else right now, which just makes me so happy. So thanks for being here. And if they haven't ever heard of you, tell them again the three artists that they might have heard of if they haven't heard of you that you've been compared to.
Sarah Bareilles, Ingrid Michaelson, and Regina Spektor.
There you go. So we are going to interview this nice young lady here on the air, but I wanted to give you a little preview of this is the video part while this song plays out. So check out Glimmer is the new song, and we're going to talk about the Kickstarter and everything. But man, this is it's so good. I'm so glad you're here. Man, I've been following you for a while. This is really cool. So there it is. We'll fade it back in and stay. Here we go.
All right.
The sweet sounds of Heather May, and the track is Glimmer. And oh my God, it gives me goosebumps that I got to play that first. It's so powerful. Wow. So what is Glimmer? Talk about that.
So Glimmer is, well, it started out from my going on the road with my last record, I Am Enough, and taking it on the road. And I actually have bipolar disorder too.
Okay.
Yep. And I never really told my fans about it because I was afraid about what it would make you. I was afraid of scaring off my fans. I mean, mental illness is stigmatized in our country. Yeah. And so I was afraid of freaking my fans out. And then I went on the road with my last record, and the amazing thing happened where my fans would come up to me after my shows or standing around my car after loading in my keyboard, and they would tell me their stories about struggling with their own mental illness. And so it made me brave. It made me write through my darkness. So I went home and started writing the next record. And instead of writing when I'm manic, which is when I'm just feeling amazing and writing 100 songs an hour, I decided to write when I am in my lows. And what came out was this collection of songs that are all around the idea of empowering those who struggle with mental illness.
That's amazing, and props to you for digging down into the dark places to write it too. Because everybody, I mean, the dark place that everybody writes from is the love loss place. I feel like, but the places you're talking about are places people don't write from generally. So that's amazing.
Yeah, it was not easy. It was definitely hard. But what came out was this collection of songs that are incredibly personal, and I took it out on the road a little bit on this year. I haven't been touring as much because I've been writing. Yeah. But the shows have turned into this amazing display of community and oneness is what I've been saying, because I make my fans sing to one another. Phrases like "I'm still here," and then they look at each other and sing "You're still here." And it's, these songs, I wrote them in my pajamas and when I was not feeling great. They were really personal, but they turned into these anthemic, empowering moments for my fans to empower one another. And it is amazing what my fans have done for my life. And so this is a record to kind of give back to them.
Wow.
Yeah.
There it is. And the song Glimmer specifically is about, that's the one we just played. What was it about?
So Glimmer is kind of all-encompassing of what this next record is going to sound like. Glimmer is, it's not about the cliche, the light in the dark. It's about literally when you're depressed, you can't even put your shoes on to go get the mail, right? And so Glimmer is about the moment when you start to have fresh air in your lungs, and it's not about a light in the dark. It's about opening up your blinds.
Okay.
It's about opening up your door and letting in the light from the hallway come in, so that your roommate knows that you're doing okay.
Wow.
It's about that real glimmer of I'm gonna be okay. I've been here before. I'm gonna be here again. I've made it through before, and I'm gonna make it through again. So it's about that realistic glimmer of hope.
That glimmer. Wow, that's powerful stuff. Well, so let me give you a proper introduction here if they don't already know you. So on DC Music Rocks, we're shining a spotlight on the great songs, artists, and incredible people behind the DC region's music scene. Heather May writes music for the light seekers and the good troublemakers. Oh, I like that, by the way, the good troublemakers. As opposed to the bad ones, it's the good ones. She's a powerhouse performer and an earth-shaking vocalist. And she's taken her personal struggle with mental health, placed it into a record and a live show, and turned her experience into a universal light force that shines for every audience member. This is not your mother's social justice music. Heather is an empowering, on-fire musical experience delivered via explosive vocals over high-energy, rhythm-heavy instrumentation that bursts in the chest of every audience member, moved to their core by her passion and message of self-love. She's been dubbed the new queer Adele by Elle Mag, which I love that title too.
Me too.
And I've been following you for a couple of years, and so the fact that now you're here sitting with me is just, oh my God, I'm beside myself because this is great.
I'm happy to be here too, Brian.
This is cool. All right, so now, first we should recognize it's spelled M-A-E.
Yep.
Your last name. Has that always been like?
It's
Is
always
that
been that way.
Passed down for centuries, kind of thing, or is that just as far as you know,
It is
or
passed
is there a
down,
story
actually.
there?
No, you're right. It is passed down. Yeah, my grandmother's, my great grandmother's, it was her first name, and then it just became like everybody's middle name, and I was like the lucky kid in my family that like got the middle name, and so I changed it to be my last name.
There you go. Oh, so it's now your last name, but I see. Very good. Okay, check out Heather. And now your connection to the D.C. region.
Yeah,
What
I actually
part?
grew up in Northern Virginia.
Really?
I did.
Which part?
Sterling, Virginia.
Oh,
I did.
excellent.
I went to Parkview High School.
Shout out Parkview.
Yeah, and but I live in Northeast DC now, right in a little area called Trinidad. I love it
that one.
so much.
I was going to say, there's so much personality. It's
love
like one of those
Trinidad.
things where it hasn't turned over, but it's thinking about it, and it's on the way a little bit, depending on the block.
It's
I
a
don't
cool
know.
area. It really is, and there's a lot of families, and it's just it's a straight shot down to 8th Street, so you can see, go to venues like in the Atlas District and Rock and Roll Hotel, and and there's the streetcar now. And
Yep.
so I don't know. I'm really biased. I really love Northeast DC way
There you
more
go.
than any.
Way more than any others. So all you Northeasters out there, Heather's
What
with
up?
you. That's the best. That is the best quadrant. It's all about the Northeast. That is it. Now, first of all, you talked about there's a transition happening because your first album, it seemed like it was very much more body positive. It's I Am Enough was the first album.
Yep.
And it was. Well, so talk about what that was and then the difference happening now.
Yeah, so I Am Enough was first off, so I got nodules on my vocal cords in 2013. Yeah, and it stopped everything. So I made a vow, literal vow, to myself that if I ever got the chance to do it again, I would only write music that was honest and music that might make others mad, but music that helped the world be a better place. So I started my career as a social justice artist. I sing and sang songs about, in I Am Enough, about body positivity and about fat justice and about LGBTQ equality and Black Lives Matter and immigrants and refugees and women's rights. So that's all in that record. And now this new record, Glimmer, is still a social justice record because I do talk about feminism and womanism and the Me Too movement and LGBTQ rights. But I also am now adding in mental health advocacy because the fact of the matter is that too many people are affected by suicide and suicidal thoughts. And I know my fans, because of going out on the road and hearing their stories, that it's time that I step up because I know my fans are hurting. And so I thought, well, what if I actually made like a tool that they could put in their toolkit to take out when they're hurting? Oh my God, what an even like better way of like validating this experience of being a musician, which is not easy.
Yeah.
What if I created something that like really helped people?
Yeah.
And I Am Enough did that. And I totally and completely changed everything, the way I connected with my fans when I started writing music that was about social justice. And so I thought, well, what's my next step? And then I heard their stories. It made me brave. And so I wrote Glimmer. And that's where it began.
And now you said we should talk about you're raising money for this now, or what's the platform is?
So I'm doing Kickstarter. I'm raising funds right now for Kickstarter, and I just looked at my phone, and it's only been live for 4 days, and I've already raised 40% of my funding.
Holy smokes, Heather, that's amazing.
And I'm raising $25,000.
Wow.
I know. This is, so I knew my fans were going to like show up, but I didn't realize how very unalone I am in my need for mental health music. And, I don't even know what to say. I don't know what's happening. I'm very overwhelmed right now because of all the messages I've been receiving in the comments. Because the video for the Kickstarter is actually not like a standard Kickstarter. It's a video where it's like, hello, my name's Heather May. I'm a singer-songwriter. I want to make a record. Help me. It's it's actually a music video.
Wow.
And I don't actually talk about the record until like the end. And the reason I did that was because I wanted to like show what the sound of the record is, which is what you just heard, which is Glimmer. Yeah. And it is a step away from my older sound. It's bigger. It's a closer step to like alternative pop, less singer-songwriter, that like singer-songwriter folky sound. And whoa. Well, I did not expect that.
We're gonna obviously I'm gonna put the link in the episode notes here so you can check out the Kickstarter. You can see the video, and of course, please support Heather in her quest to do this for sure.
That would be amazing.
No, wait a minute. You talked about like when you're performing. There's a lot happening in what we heard there. Yeah. When you're performing, what's a live show? If they go see you live, what's that like?
So the amazing thing about this like new step in this next record is that I am now exclusively touring with a band and a backing band and two.
Really?
Yes, and it's.
Because I've heard stories about you where it's just you and your keyboard, like you were saying earlier.
So I when I play solo, it's me and my keyboard, and I am very rhythm heavy with my keyboard. So like I slap the keys, and I like.
You are an almost violent performer.
I am. I actually once broke a keyboard on stage, which was awesome and terrifying at the same time because it was like in the middle of like a competition in upstate New York, this competition called Falcon Ridge, and I was in the middle of playing my song Hero, where I just lay into the keyboard to turn it into a drum, and I just totally shredded the keyboard completely. It was annihilated, and it stopped, and you could hear it was like in the audience, it was like, and then there was like this quiet sound, and I was like, oh, well, I think I broke a keyboard, and I looked over to the side to the stage crew, and I said, do you guys have another one? And they were like stunned, like looking at me like, and they were like, yeah, we're going to get you. So they run to the back, and I look out in the audience, and there's like 1,000 people in this audience right now. Yeah. And so I look out in the audience, and I say, well, it's just you and me, so what you want to hear? Oh my God. So yeah, I have been known to break some keyboards. Oh my God. Forgot about that story.
So good. That was a good one. Oh my God. Yeah. All right, now wait a minute. Now talk about you on the personal side. So outside of this music thing, what else is Heather's life like?
I do a lot of self-care. Honestly, it's 2018. I turned 30 this year, and it was like it was like the year of Heather May. I finally, after being in this business for so long, I'm like just going out on tour and not taking care of myself, and then like shredding my voice and like not being kind to the person that I am. It's like this is the year where like I'm finally figuring out, oh, this is how you do this business. So when I'm not playing music, I'm like taking dance lessons, and I do yoga, and I cook with my wife, which is so fun.
Nice.
For so long thought I was a terrible cook, so I just like didn't do it, and now I'm like game on. I love cooking. I'm like stellar with a pot roast, and like my wife and I just started. We've gone through like so many different versions of cookbooks. We just finished a cookbook, a paleo cookbook, and then we did. Not because of dieting, but like just literally, we just want to try different cuisines.
Yeah,
and we just
try the different stuff.
Yeah, we just finished cooking, doing a pho cookbook, and oh my God. so I love cooking. So it's a lot of stuff that's like involved with like what helps my mental health, you know?
Okay.
So yeah, so I've been doing a lot of stuff like that, and then like I've been really getting into my like woo-woo side of me, which I don't know if you know what that is, Ryan, but
I do know what that is,
my
actually.
woo-woo.
I can
So
say, yes.
I have been
Okay.
really getting into like spirituality and my fans, I started like talking about it on my Instagram, and my fans are here for it. They
Yes.
are stoked about me like coming into like my witchy.
Come into your woo-woo.
Into my,
You are coming into your woo-woo.
So yeah, so I've been really in love with like crystals and like books on like witchy stuff, and then like, you know, Buddhism or and like meditation and incorporating all of those things with like yoga. So
Okay.
that's
all
kind of what
the
I'm
different
into.
things. Holy smokes, there's so much there that I want to ask some more, and I don't have time. But the one question that I always have to ask, and it's my favorite one, and I can't wait for you to tell me, which is, if you could offer one piece of advice, what would it be?
For musicians?
Take it however you like.
Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh. So I'm gonna do the not the musician thing. I'm gonna do for people in their mental health, because that's like kind of what I'm doing right now.
Tell us.
My advice would be to find a group of people who are open with their mental illness. And if that means that you need to be the one to open it up, be that vulnerable person, because there is no one thing that fixes mental illness or specifically depression, bipolar disorder, manic depression. There's no one thing. But there is one thing that always helps, which is community. And so I've been really focused this year on building community in my fans, like helping them. So like, because I don't know what it's like for them when they go home. Yeah. And so I want to create a safe space for them so that they have community. So sharing with people around you what you're going through, and then finding that group and being vulnerable, because then you have people around you who understand. You have a safe space to go to, and they have a safe space to go to when they're struggling. So that is my advice: is let yourself be vulnerable.
Let yourself be vulnerable. I feel like that's a common message, and yet people don't do it. So
no, we don't. But
you just got to keep
to.
saying it. Yeah, you got to keep reinforcing it.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, Heather, if they want to find out more about, so obviously we'll have the link and everything, but if they want to find out more about you and all the amazing things happening with Heather May, where's the best place for them to go?
So honestly, the best place to go is my Instagram. I'm not going to lie. They could go to heathermay.net, they could go to my website, or they could go to my Instagram, which is Heather May Music, MAE, and that is where you can find the link to my Kickstarter, and then all my music too.
There it is. So we'll check out more. And now one of the things when you're a guest on the show, you got to bring great music with you, and Heather definitely did. So let's play one of those. Heather, what do you have for us first?
So the first one I have is an artist called Shade, and this is their song Melt.
And there it is. And for you guys on the video, that was Heather May. Thank you so much for checking out the video, and obviously check out more from Heather May, because I've been a fan for a while, and now she's doing even more amazing things with more causes, and I just thank you. Thanks for being you. Thanks for being on, and thank you guys for checking this out.
Thank you.
Absolutely.